And I'll mute. All right, so everybody's on mute. That's all good. All righty. Well, I'm before we get too far into this, I'm expecting my little karate princess to come in through the door any old tick of the clock. And she's been at training and they got grading next week, so she's all excited. I was going through some stuff and looking at all the material on recent material on Team FSI, and the amount of material on there is fair bit, but absolutely gold. It is pure gold. And I came across a video that gave a great explanation of all this pure gold and how to either understand it or why you struggle to implement it. And, you know, building a network's simple. It's very simple. We make a list, contact the people, we show the plan, we follow up, we teach those who get in, who want to build it, to make a list, show the plan, or contact the people, show the plan, do the follow-up, repeat. It's so simple. There is not a complicated part of it anywhere, except in here. All right? Except in here. Now, what I'll do for a start is I'll play this bit of a video, and it's only a very short segment of the entire video because we haven't got time to play the whole video. But this lady has, she's in, I think she's in Canada, and she's organised a Zoom call with Michael Klaus last year. Now keep in mind, Michael is now earning $3.5 million a year. So he's got a rough idea what he's talking about. And so let's have a little bit of a listen to what Michael Klaus has to say, and we'll go from there. So let me share the screen. Let me go and get my presentation up and press play.
In the game and not let all these things distract you like your current circumstances. So I'm just gonna let you take it away.
Well, I appreciate that. First of all, thank you for having me on. And to those of you that are investing your time this evening live, thank each and every one of you personally. For those of you that will be watching later, you know, just think about how we tend to take in information. And rare is the individual that will hear something once and retain it. They're out there. You know, we usually refer to them as brilliant photographic memory. But that's not most of us. It certainly isn't me. So I learned early on one of the shortcuts to success was to be open and willing to identify one's challenge, fault, obstacle, whatever it happens to be. You know, there's something for each of us where we're working on it, or we're just not very good at it. And when I certainly got involved in the networking profession, I wasn't very good at this. And so instead of trying to master it overnight, and let's face it, today in 2017, we live in a very instant world. You know, if the phone doesn't pop up immediately, if we call someone and they don't grab it on the first ring, if we send them, as you pointed out, a text message, we're like, I sent it 8 minutes ago. Why haven't they responded? You know, what's going on? But that really has transcended our society. And as a result of that, the concept of delayed gratification, which most of us grew up understanding that, you know, life was a progression and you start at the bottom and you kind of work your way up to the top. Those things have all been forgotten. Today, the kids want to have as much money as the parents when they move out of the house. And, oh, by the way, why don't you just buy us a house? And so it's a very different world that we're living in. But for me, I was blessed with the knowledge from a leader a long time ago who basically said, spend more time on less material. So find what you need to learn and just be willing to go over it and over it and over it again. I think it was Jim Rohn who said, don't try to get through it, try to get something from it. And so I remember a conversation. This was kind of a changing point for me as a teacher, as an educator. I was in Bend, Oregon at the time. And as you mentioned, I grew up in poverty. The one thing I'll make a slight adjustment just for people who know, they'll know this being true. I didn't have any problem at all feeding my kids, because when you're on welfare, they give you food stamps. And my kids actually were eating things like filet mignon, because food is food. Now, I couldn't buy diapers for them. I couldn't buy toothpaste or toothbrushes, or, you couldn't buy shampoo, you couldn't buy soap, but you could buy filet mignon for your kids. So we ate really, really well. We were just incredibly poor. But when you understand kind of that whole space, and then you grow up and you realize what happened, well, somebody gave me a book. And I started reading the book and realized, wow, this was all new material for me. It was entitled The Richest Man in Babylon. So I remember sitting down with this couple, and they were having some challenges financially. And after everyone had left, because certainly you would never want to have this conversation with somebody publicly. So after everybody had left, he privately reached out to me and he said, as you could probably see from our surroundings, we're having some serious challenges financially. I understand you did too. What can I do? And I recommended, I said, well, there's one book. I'll recommend you go get it. And it's The Richest Man in Babylon. And he said to me, now, this is the part of the story you really want to hone in on. He said to me, oh, I've already read that book. What else do you recommend? And I looked at him and I said, you've already read that book? Okay, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend you read it again. And so sometimes that is the challenge that we face. If you do the push-up, you need to do the push-up again. If you pick up the weight and you put it back down, and then you looked at your trainer and said, I picked up the weight, I put it back down. What's the trainer going to say? Do it again. And, you go talk to someone, and let's just say it goes incredibly well, and they involve themselves with Isagenix. What do? We do it again. If we talk to somebody and it doesn't go well, what do we have to do? We have to learn how to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and do it again. So that whole concept of just getting better over time, what I would refer to now as progressively educating someone. We understand progressive education in the secular world. If I asked about how old your son or daughter happened to be, or maybe your grandson or daughter, and you said they were 6 or 7, I would think they're going into maybe grade 1 or grade 2. I wouldn't ask you what university they were attending, because we understand that education is progressive. But when we're talking to people who are adults, we sometimes forget that when we bring them in our case, the space of our company, Isagenix, that although they all look like they're grown up, and they are, and they all look like they're mature, and they are, this for them is new. And so we have to treat them in that context. We have to take it in small pieces and give it to them progressively over time so that they can become comfortable. And that really is just what it's about. It's about finding out what are the fundamentals and mastering those fundamentals and trying as best you can not to deviate from those fundamentals, and continuing until you get the results that you want from those fundamentals. It's really not any more complicated than that, but let me also suggest to you, it's easy to explain the game of golf. It's not hard. You put the ball on the tee, and then your objective is to hit the little ball, the golf ball, onto the big ball, the earth, without putting too much of the big ball, the earth, onto the little ball, the golf ball. So just hit the ball and put it about 250 yards down the fairway, and then grab your iron and put it up on the green, and grab your putter and put it in the hole. And that sounds logical, and okay, I can process that in my mind. And then you go up and you put the ball down on the ground, and you take that swing, and you look down and the ball's still there because you missed it completely. And then you recognize that it's very easy to explain to someone what to do, but it's significantly more difficult to execute, even if it's really simple. And so just keep that in mind as you're moving forward. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to go through a lot of repetition. It's not going to feel comfortable in the beginning. So why would we waste our time doing it? And here's the lesson. And if we can remember this, I think this is probably one of the greatest lessons of all. And it's for what it will provide us if we're successful. you know, again, Jim Rohn taught me a lot of things, but one of them happened to be, before you start climbing the ladder of success, make sure it's leaning against the right building. So here we're in the space of Isagenix. And so we say to someone like Carolyn, you've been around for a long time. Why would I want to learn all of this? And Carolyn says, well, this is the lifestyle that's been able to afford my family. You say, wow, that sounds really great. But are you a unique individual in that context? And Carolyn says, no, I was millionaire number 104, or number 40. Now we have 221, I think. They just announced 221. So imagine if you could sit down with all 221 of those people and you could ask them, was the price you paid worth it? What do you think they would say? And here's the crazy part. I don't know all of the millionaires in our space, but I know enough of them to know that they are more than pleased with the sacrifices that they put in, with the results that they've gotten out, and the lifestyle that is ensued as a result of it. So, you know, I just basically think that life is a little bit like this. I really do believe that there's three magical things that we all want in common. And I use the word magical because try to imagine that you were walking along that beautiful beach and all of a sudden you stubbed your toe on something. It didn't hurt too terribly bad, and you reached down and picked it up and it looked like a lamp. In fact, it looked like the lamp you remember from that childhood story your mother or father used to read to you called Aladdin's lamp. You think, no, it couldn't possibly be Aladdin's lamp. But you know, just for grins, you decided to pick it up and to rub it. And voila, out of that lamp popped that magical genie and said, it's really true. You have the lamp, I'm your master, and you have but 3 wishes. Now, I know I'm being a bit silly, but if you really did get 3 wishes, what would they be? And I think if we open the rest of this conversation up tonight on Zoom, we could probably get a pretty great debate going on if we really could have but 3 wishes, what they would be. But after being in the space of Isagenix for a number of years, here's what I think mine would be. And I'll share them with you, and then you can decide if you think you might also think, that sounds pretty good. I think I'd like to have that too. So wish number 1, I would say to the genie, I would love to have perfect health for as long as I'm allowed to be here. I don't want my body to break down. I don't want to eventually hunch over and have my skin sag and end up with blindness of one eye or some disease, or eventually fall down and break a hip and end up in the hospital and then, you know, die alone in a nursing home. It's not what I want. I don't care how long I have, but on the day I'm no longer supposed to be here, I'd like to just drop stone cold dead. That's my wish. I want to be in perfect health for every single minute of the day. I want to wake up feeling amazing, go through the day with effortless ease. I want to have plenty of energy to do what I want to do, sleep like a baby at night. I want my body to behave. You know, I want to live in a better body. Genie says, boom, you've got it. Wish number 1. Well, what would be wish number 2? I say, okay, well, if I've got this beautiful body, you know what I would also like to have? I'd like to have a bigger bank account. You know, I don't want to worry about bills. I don't want to worry about where I put my kids in school. I don't want to worry about where I have to live. I want to be able to live where it's comfortable for me or safe for me or provides enjoyment or pleasure for me. I don't need to be the wealthiest guy on planet Earth. Some of those people aren't too happy. But I want to be able to have a bank account large enough that I can design the life I want to live, and whatever it is that I want to do, I'll have the resources there to do it. Genie says, fair enough. Boom. So now I have the better body to live in, and I have the bigger bank account to live from. Genie says, you've got one more wish. And I think about that for a moment, and then I realize, you know what I probably would wish for? And again, we could get a great debate going here, but I would wish for the gift of time. Time to be able to enjoy both. Because let me give you an illustration. Imagine if I happen to be a martial arts expert, which I'm not, and I was hired by a very wealthy family for their protection. And they said, we'll pay you $1 million a year, but you're going to live in our guest house and you're going to travel with us wherever we go in the world, private jets, yachts, all of those things, but you will literally never leave my side. Okay, well, I'd have to keep my body in amazingly great shape, so I'm living in that better body. I'm getting paid $1 million a year. That certainly would be out of a bigger bank account. But if I'm at the beck and call of that individual, will I ever have the gift of time? And the answer is no. I will be living their life, but not my own. Now, that may not be a bad life for some people, but for me, I want to be able to live in that better body, live out of that bigger bank account, and have the time to enjoy both. And I think that when you have that magical combination, it allows us to sit down, to plan out, and then to move forward in a direction that we actually want to go. That, for me, is the payoff. And so if I said to someone, does that sound reasonable to you? And they say, that sounds more than reasonable. That sounds wonderful. Okay, then we want to get you on these products so that we can have your body perform, because you don't get a magical wish. You've got to go to work on your body. It's your responsibility. It's the only place you have to live. And let's simultaneously go to work on your bank account. Again, you aren't going to inherit wealth, probably. You're probably not going to be the lucky lottery winner. And even if you are, that may not go well for you. So you're going to have to create this on your own. Let me show you what we've been able to do to successfully help other people. And if we do it right, we should be able to do this where this can be incorporated into the fabric of your life so that you actually have time to enjoy that body and that bank account. And to me, that is the gift of Isagenix. And that's why we get up early. And that's why we stay up late. And that's why we go through the material again and again and again, like an actor learning a line for a role in a movie, hoping for the coveted Academy Award. We want to get that line down so well that when we deliver it on set, we don't give the impression that it's a line written by somebody else. We give the impression that it really is us. And so, I had to learn how to talk to people, and it wasn't comfortable for me. And I would try certain things, they didn't really work out. And so I had to become that actor. But I had to become that actor who was so comfortable that it literally did become me. I wasn't being, inauthentic. It was just I had to learn how to ask people and really listen and follow up with them and try to uncover their issues and then provide a solution that they could see as reasonable. And when I figured out how to do that, then this business became effortless and easy.
Effortless and easy. Wouldn't that be lovely if the business became effortless and easy? And that's all we had to do, was just be effortless and easy. Now it's a matter of learning the script. Now let's have a little bit of a look at what it is that we've got to learn. We've got to learn how to ask people, how to approach people. Okay, nobody can hear. Give me a yell if you can, give me a wave if you can hear me. Yep, all good? Okay, I'll move in a bit closer to the mic. That might be easier. All right, so if we've got to learn to approach people and that's foreign to us, then what we've got to understand is, it's a skill that we can learn. And, even if we've got to do some EFT, if we've got to do some tapping on overcoming some blockages we might have in that area, then it's a learned thing. We can do that. We know how to do EFT. Right? So that's part of it. Then we've got the plan sheet. So let's have a quick look here. If we share the screen again and we go and get the plan sheet, right? And so we know we don't have to memorize every line ourselves. We've just got to read this as the other people are reading it in a way that it's conversational. It's all written down here for us. So at the moment, really all you've got to learn is how to approach people, how to invite people to have a look at this. Then we read this. We then get down here to let the experts do the talking, show some videos. So we then show the video, the plan of the video, and there's a couple of spots, 2 or 3 spots where you're going to learn to stop the video and ask some questions, as in about the income and their health and what they would do with the income and how they would feel if that were the case, and little things like that. And then we just go down and show them after the videos how they can make $500 in 60 days. And we just go down here, and this is where it becomes so simple. Look, it is simple. All we really do is swap brands. Start using the products available out of your own business, order in advance, share the concept with some family and friends, and teach those who join with you to do the same. You see, it's going to work if you want it to work, but it's up to you. And we just go down through here. Now, guys, what I liked about what Michael Klaus was talking about was that he pointed out that things were a little bit tough for him at one stage in his life. Like he was on welfare, on eating out of food stamps in the US. He's now making $3.5 million a year. Like he couldn't buy nappies for his kids. He couldn't buy toothpaste or toothbrushes. He was broke. Now he's making $3.5 million a year because he learnt some skills. Now these skills may not come natural to all of you or to any of us. But if you've got a picture in mind of where you want to go and what you want your life to look like, this is a brilliant vehicle for that. It really is. Like he said, you know, you can have an amazing body, you can have long life and a heap of dollars to go with it. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. But we've got to have a reason why, and we need to have the skill. The first skill is to contact people. Without that skill, all the other skills don't matter because you've got no one to show it to. So we've got to learn the skill of approaching, contacting, making the conversation. And in doing that, then the rest will flow because the rest is written down. The contact's the only bit that's not written down. The contacting is the only bit that's not really on video. Now, I know we got Trevor's little 10-minute video clip, but that's what we send to them after we've had that conversation. We've got to have the conversation first. We've got to open up the conversation. All right. And so let's see what happens when we master the contacting skill. We've learned to read the plan, and then the other skill we're going to have to work on is our follow-up, which again is not so much a written down skill, but it's a skill you need to learn based off what was said during the plan. Because when we follow people up, not one size fits all. Everybody has their own reasons why, and we'll cover that in the follow-up later on. But let's have a little look here. I'm going to share the screen again. Okay, let's have a look at the factors affecting growth and contacting, because none of this comes into play if we don't contact. So we've got to learn A, how to contact, then B, why to contact in quick succession, why to ramp it up. So let's look at this. Let's say you're showing an average of one person a week for a month. Right? Now, for you to show one person a week, chances are you'd have to contact 2 or 3. Sometimes they're not all no's. Oh, no, look, I'm busy this week. I'm going away. I'm on holidays, whatever. Come back to me in 2 or 3 weeks. So even though you did well with that contact, that's not a plan for this week. We need to get the plans done. So you're going to have to make several contacts a week to just average at least one a week. But have a look at this. So we've got one plan a week. Of the people we show, let's say only 1 in 4 are getting in, 3 are saying no. All right. And 10% of the people that do get in do what you do. So 6 months down the track, you've got 7 people in your group and you're sitting there and you hear about all these whiz-bang people and you think, well, hell, it's not working for me. Well, it is. It's working perfectly based on the contacting. I was talking to a guy the other day, he sells real estate, and he said it's not about selling real estate, it's about listing real estate. He said you can't sell what you haven't listed. He said you've got to keep going out, getting more and more listings, well, more and more contacts in our context. And so if we look here and we go, okay, let's ramp it up a little bit. Oh, hang on. If we go to 6. All right, so we're going to go and do, what happened? Don't do that to me. Hang on, guys. I'll stop sharing for a second. I'll go back here and see what's happened to that. No, we don't want to save the changes. We'll have to work on that bit a little bit later on. Bear with me, I'll go and get it again. And where are you? Factors affecting growth. All right. All right, we're back again. Now we'll try and share that screen again and see what we can do with it. I hate it when it does that to me. All right, so we get out of there and we go to 6. All right, so as you can see, by just ramping it up a little bit, the numbers change. That was 7, now it's 11. Not a big difference. Down here's a big difference. Let me show you again. We'll make that into a 4. So it's gone from 81 in 2 years. So we go to 6 to 240. What was the difference? The difference was you learnt the skill of contacting and felt more comfortable contacting more people, so you ended up with more plans. So let's have a look at that again. Now we'll go to 8. Have a look, keep an eye on your numbers. At 6 months, it was 7, it's now 11. That was 81, it's now 240. Is the skill of contacting worth learning? As Michael Klaus was talking about, it's progressive learning. It's the repetition. It's not, look, this isn't sexy. This isn't whiz bang. This can become boring. This can become monotonous. But it can also make you wealthy. It can pay the bills. Think about this. Is this skill of contacting worth learning? Is it worth doing some EFT and getting rid of some of the blockages that might stop us from doing this? Hell yes. Because by the time you're showing 10 plans a month, your sponsoring rate has probably gone to 50%. Because you're good at it, because it flows. It's like he said, you've learnt the line. It's almost like the performance is no longer a learned performance. It's automatic. It just becomes a part of you, and people sense that, and it just rolls out. Michael Klaus had to learn this stuff. It did not come natural to him. But I think he's glad that he learnt it. You know, $3.5 million a year and growing. It's not going backwards and it's not standing still. These skills are simple. They're just a matter of learning how to have the conversations. It's just a matter of having your ears tuned in to listen to the conversations around you when people are saying, oh God, you know, just bloody hell, I just broke, man. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. Well, hang on, wait a minute. This is just a shot in the dark, but are you open to looking at a way to make a few extra dollars? Well, sure. What do you got? Well, look, now's not a real good time. what are you doing tomorrow? Can we catch up tomorrow after lunch or after dinner or whenever? Well, sure. Now, you might have all the time in the world to show them right there and then. And the reason we don't show them right there and then is we want that seed to germinate in their mind. Geez, I wonder what Tim's got. I wonder what he's talking about. Oh, man, this could be good. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what he's got, but hell, I hope it works. Right? Because we want their mind to open up a little bit before we show them. Right? Brains and parachutes are the same. They work better when they're open. And, so what we want people to do is think a little bit about what it is we might be going to present to them. And so even though you might have all the time in the world, don't show them right there and then, because 9 times out of 10 you won't get them. Right? Because they haven't had time to germinate that seed. Okay? And so, you look at these people going across stage on that video that Trev had, that he put up on Team FSI. And these guys were cranking it. They were doing 20, 30 plans a month, minimum. You're going to say, well, I don't know that many people. No, I know you don't. But when you sponsor Harry and Fred, each one of those knows 100 people. And so you can go and do meetings for Harry and Fred. You work in depth. And everybody that gets somebody in there, you help them build depth, build depth, build depth. You don't have to know everybody. You're just in there teaching and working with and helping everybody else learn progressively, like what's his name, Klaus, was saying. It's progressive learning. And what happens here is this, guys, that if we do this, if we actually go and do this, who knows who you're going to bump into? Right? Who knows what's going to pop out underneath? You just never, ever, ever, ever know. And you see what's going to happen is this will get a little bit better. Right? That'll probably go to 12%. And the numbers go nuts. And the numbers are allowed to go nuts because we've only just started. You got to understand that in doing this, if you show and work depth, you've got people in your group, you go down and do meetings for them. They sponsor some people, you teach them, and you go with them to go down and do meetings in depth. See, all you're ever doing is working with a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. So you never really go into a stranger's place because everybody in that line of sponsorship was a friend of somebody upline. It's a friend of a friend of a friend. So let's stop sharing that page. And let's unmute everybody. All right. Anybody got any questions on what Michael Klaus said or how I've explained that so far?
That makes sense, and it's just going to get easier. The more people we talk to, it gets easier.
Yep.
And the power of duplication, like you say, you don't have to know 100 people. Go down depth.
Yeah, that's right.
Someone you might know someone at the same. Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty simple.
It's good. Anybody else? No, all good. Okay, let's go back to mute all again. Muting all. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to go and get... a little video here. Where was it? This one here. Now, hang on a second, guys. Bear with me just for a second while I get all this set up. I just wish I had 2 screens. I'll have to work on that bit. All right, I think we can do this now. All right, let's have a look at this. 6 figures in 6 months. Now, don't get me wrong, you're not sitting at home doing the knitting of an evening if you're doing this. Right? You've still got a job, that's fine. But of an evening, you rush in, drop a shakedown, grab your gear and go because you've got another in-house open meeting somewhere in depth. And your distributors, your friends, have got 4 or 5 people that they've invited to their house. And you're teaching them how to do a meeting by doing a meeting for them.
6 figures in 6 months. Some people have already done that, but to do that, you've got to have simple, duplicatable systems. We've got that. But this hypothetical example shows what will happen if you sponsor 1 person per week, and everybody in your group also sponsors 1 person per week, and everybody consumes just 100 BV of product per month. So the first week, you go out and you sponsor Tim. The second week, you sponsor Shane, and Tim sponsors somebody else. Then there's 2 in Tim's group. The third week, you sponsor Linda, Shane sponsors somebody else, as does Tim, and so the person that Tim sponsors. So there'd be 4 in Tim's group. The fourth week, you sponsor Bill, and everybody else sponsors 1, and so on. So this just keeps building up as you keep sponsoring more people each week, and everybody in your team is also sponsoring 1 person per week. So at the end of 12 weeks, you would have sponsored 12 people. Tim, Shane, Linda, Bill, Sue, Anne, Chaz, Jean, Rob, Lynn, Tom, and Harry. Tim would have only sponsored 11, Linda 9, and so on. All up though, you'd have over 4,000 people in your team. Right? If everybody's doing 100 BB per month, you'd have over 400,000 BB going through in a month. It means you'd be doing over 450 cycles per month, 105 cycles per week. It means you'd be making over 27,000 per month, 6,000 a week, over 300,000 a year. But what if you're only sponsoring 1 per month instead of 1 per week? This example shows what will happen if you sponsor 1 per month and everybody in your group also sponsors 1 per month and everybody consumes the 100 BV per month. Well, in 12 months, you'd be making 27,000 a month, 6,000 a week, over 300,000 a year. You'd be at 6 figures in 12 months. You can do it. Other people have. And we've got simple duplicatable systems that make this all possible.
One a month, 1 a week. And it boils down to that duplicatable system. It boils down to contacting people, learning that, getting over whatever the glitch is that's stopping you from asking people to have a look at it. And we can do that with EFT, right? And what happens then is we then have, if we set up and we do some in-home meetings and you've got the sheets to read, we've got the videos to show, you can plug the USB into most people's TV, or you can just do it on a laptop, or you can do it with the little Lenovo tablets. And in doing that, the more you drive down in depth and help the people that you've sponsored make the money, the more money you make. Like I said, you won't do it sitting at home doing the knitting. And at the end of 12 months, you'll probably want a holiday. Right? You will have gone out there and wrung the neck of this thing. But, you know, at $27,000 a month, you could probably afford a holiday. Isogenics would probably give you one. They might even give you 2, right? But guys, this is simple. It is so simple. The tricky stuff is in here. That's why Trevor has got all that material on Team FSI in the personal development section, the bug-free mind material, the EFT, all that stuff is there to help you and I overcome whatever blockages we've got, so as it'll allow us to move forward and make the money. Become free. You know, just become free. I mean, just imagine. I mean, just work this out. Today's Wednesday. And this is Wednesday, this time next year. Whole year's gone past. And that year can go past and leave you where exactly you are this year. And you'll be in exactly the same place doing exactly the same thing. Or we can learn a couple of skills. We can learn the skill of contacting. We can learn the skill of follow-up. And the skill of follow-up is real simple. It's real simple. Fred, Mary, Jack, Harry, based on the information that you saw last night, what is it that you like best? Was it the good health, the making of the money, or both? They're the only three questions you've got. Oh, yeah, but we don't think we could do it, or we can't afford it, or whatever. Whatever the objection is, we can overcome the objection. The objection is just their limitation. Well, okay, if I could show you how you could afford it without busting into your ordinary spend, can you see the benefit in it? Well, yeah, I can. Oh, yeah, but I don't think we could do it. Well, if I could show you how you could do it without getting too far out of your comfort zone, what would you like, the money or the health or both? Well, we'd like both. Cool. Well, we can work together and I can work you through that. We've got a program called EFT. Bingo. Right? But 12 months from now is going to be 12 months from now. That's pretty simple maths. The difference between where you are today and where you'll be 12 months from now is the number of conversations you're prepared to have with the people around you and the people that you bump into. And not just talk to them about Isagenix, set up the plan. And if you're not comfortable showing the plan, grab your upline. Take them. Get them to come and show the plan for you. That's what your upline's there for. That's what your sponsor is all about. Your sponsor is there to support, back up, and teach you how to do it. And if you don't use your sponsor, then you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. Right? You're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. You've got to use the teachers. You've got to use your teacher, right? And so in that, she doesn't know it right now, but I've invited Cyan to come in for a reason. All righty, Cyan's just come back from karate training. All right, now, sweetie, I want to ask you a question. You're learning karate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your senseis are teaching you.
Yeah.
Speak up, please.
Yes.
All right. Now, with your senseis, if you don't do what they say, will you get your gradings?
No.
How important is it for you to go from one level to the next level in your karate?
Pretty important.
Pretty important. Yeah. Right? Guys, Michael Klaus said as children, they learn to go through school gradings. You don't ask a 7-year-old what university he's going to. You and I, in networking, we have rank advancements. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, 10-star, 20-star. Right? We have rank advancements. In karate, these little guys start off with a white belt, then they get a black tip, then they get a yellow belt, and that'll be exciting.
Orange.
And then orange, right? So everybody understands there's a ranking system. there's prep, there's grade 1, there's grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, high school, right? Ask yourself the question, based on what I'm doing today, when will I go through my next grading? When will I rank advance? When will I have the dollars? When will this work for me? And I can tell you exactly when this will work for you. I know exactly when it will. When you contact a whole bunch of people each week, week in, week out, week in the beginning, you're going to get it wrong. You'll burn a few people. It doesn't matter, right? Some are going to say no. It doesn't matter. It's learning. You're learning the process. But you'll get enough plans to start getting a bit of momentum, right? But you need your upline's help. You know, when we first started in networking, I was fortunate. I had Trevor coming over from Victoria over to Adelaide to back us up. And I had our sponsor, Des Toohey, come over a few times to help us as well, because we didn't know what to do. We were a long way from anybody. We didn't have our sponsor just up the road or just down the road, right? Here, we're fortunate because we have this platform now. I can do meetings for you all on Zoom, right? Jerry's in New South Wales somewhere. Right? And so, no, he's in Queensland. Oh, right. Okay. Jerry's in Queensland somewhere. So he might have somebody that he wants to show the plan to, but he's not real sure. Well, we can do it on Zoom. Right? We can do all this on Zoom. And so your sponsor, your upline can work with you regardless of where you are and where they are. But they can't help you until you learn the first step. And the first step is learn the contact, learn the approach, learn to have that conversation. All righty, now let me just unmute everybody. Everybody's unmuted. All righty. Any questions, guys?
So far.
No.
The video you were showing, Tim, with Klaus. Is that on the Team FSI site, the video that you were just showing?
No, that's a Tim special, but it will be on the TNC site under videos.
Okay.
Right, so if you go to TNC and go to videos, I'll put it under there later on tonight.
On the Facebook site?
On the Facebook site, yes.
What video is that?
Oh, you weren't there, mate. Sorry, you missed out.
That's it. You have to wait until tomorrow and watch the rerun.
So I had a Michael Klaus video that I found. You'll love it, Adam.
Okay, yeah.
All righty. So, anybody else got any questions?
No, it was all good.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of echo, so I'm just going to stop the recording.